Glenn Oliver is founder of H2bid and H2bid Parts. H2bid Parts AURSI project provides an unusual digital platform for utilities to help each other out all the time, but especially in times of crisis. Glenn, it's amazing to have you back. Thank you for coming back to the Water Action platform. We haven't spoken together. It's great. And we haven't spoken like this since 2022. So an awful lot has changed, including folks in the audience. So for them, please give us in a nutshell who Glenn is, who H2bid are, and what it is that you do.
Well, thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I'm glad to be back. I missed you. So, in a nutshell, I'm Glenn Oliver, CEO of H2bid. And I've been in the water industry for over 20 plus years. Oh boy, time flies. And I started out early on as a water commissioner for a large utility here in the States, and have since moved on. And I've been in the private sector since then, since I left the public sector. And a real quick background, I got into the helping co-found this company because really briefly, as a water commissioner, we had to improve facilities and spend a lot of money, and we had to increase water rates. And it just occurred to me that those of us who are stewards of the water industry ought to do everything that we can to try to keep water rates as low as possible. And so I helped co-found this company to provide solutions that help water utilities either save money or improve efficiency in some way. So everything we do is related to that.
Okay.
And so H2bid focuses on providing data and software solutions to the water wastewater utility sector.
Okay, so you work with online platforms, and the one I'm particularly interested in is your AURSI platform, which I know you set up it uniquely facilitates transboundary management of resources and collaboration across national boundaries. What are the primary challenges that you saw from your time in the utilities, in the public sector, that H2bid was set up to solve?
Well, the biggest thing is we're in the water industry, and there's this phrase called fragmentation that we always talk about, which is basically, in a nutshell, that water utilities are pretty much siloed, and everybody does their own thing, which means that there's a lot of duplication of effort. There's not enough knowledge sharing. And when you have something occur, maybe it's an emergency and you need materials, critical parts in an emergency, and maybe your supplier is out, how do you find a utility that may want to help you?
Can you give us a couple of examples, or can you give the Action Platform audience a couple of examples of cost savings or knowledge transfer that's been achieved through AURSI, through your cross-border platform?
Sure. I think there are a couple of areas where we've seen cost savings. One is the platform, because it's a virtual community. And let me back up for a second and tell people a little bit about what it is and how it works. So it's a platform that's really focused on what we call, the core of it is material standards information. So what we do is we meet with the utility, we get all of the data about all the parts and materials that they use in their infrastructure. And usually that's a download from maybe their inventory management system or their ERP system. And we get all the specifications, the approved manufacturers, catalog numbers, descriptions,
the specs, all the
specs, technical specs,
okay.
The written technical specs, if they have photos, everything. We put it all, it all goes into a database. It's very unique in that regard. And then that data is cross-referenced through AI with the same data from other utilities. So when you go into the database, you can not only, you're not limited to, you can search your own data, but you can also search the data from other utilities. And so it allows for, it's what we call a data sharing community, a data sharing platform. So what it also is now that we have the data in, it's got some procurement components to it as well. So you're seeing lots of cost saving, both in terms of time. It allows you to save money by using it for procurement if you want. It also has a cooperative procurement module. So utilities are saving money by buying in bulk. Buying collaboratively. It also has a surplus outlet, so utilities are able to list and buy surplus materials that they may not need any longer, or maybe you bought too much, or you know you're looking for surplus, and so that's another area where it's an amazing but very simple concept, but you find savings where you have a utility that may need something in an emergency, and say your supplier's out. We've had situations where a utility is able to go into our surplus outlet and find an item that they couldn't find anywhere else for free at another utility, that they were able to get in a matter of days. In one instance, you had a utility that was expected to be down for 6 weeks, and they were able to get the part for free from another utility in the surplus outlet in 3 days. So it's that kind of thing,
And then people
that's
can
going
pick
on.
themselves up after disasters and deal with emergencies so much better. How do you
Exactly,
handle with
exactly.
this data sharing? How do you handle transparency and data sharing between nations? Because this is a transboundary initiative.
On one hand, there's no data in there that, even if it were shared beyond the utilities, that would create any kind of vulnerability. And secondly, because there's no real uh, marketability of the data, there's no hackers that would be interested in that at all. But I will say the system's never been down, it's never been hacked, so we've never had any problems with that.
Thank you, Glenn. This is amazing in its simplicity. Find what you need, sell what you don't. H2bid Parts has rolled out within the USA and into 8 other countries. It enables real-time resource sharing, cooperative purchasing, and mutual aid through providing surplus stock. Here are the contact details if you're interested in joining this virtual community.